everybody. I'm Mary Angela, if you don't know me, but I think I know everybody in this room. Thank you all so much for coming. I'm going to be very bad at this, so I'm just going to say that up front. So bear with me and thank you. I hate that I'm standing here right now, but I'm so glad to see how much love is in this room for a person that we all love very much. So thank you for coming and taking the time to remember our friend who meant a lot to so many of us. I want to welcome you all here. Thank you for being here. I especially want to welcome his family, David and Casey. Thank you so much for coming, and his best friends, Ray and Jeremy, and their families. I've heard so much about all of you, and I wish we were meeting under completely different circumstances. But I thought it was important that we just share some good times and some memories and some thoughts about our dear friend. And this is the only way I kind of knew how. So thanks for being a part of it. I'm sorry, I'm going to try really hard not to do that. I know we all kind of want to say some things, and I've asked some people to speak today, and if you have something that you want to share, I'll open it up to you as well, if there's something you want to say. But I would like to ask Patrick to come up first and share a little something, if you don't mind.
Hi, everybody. So, I guess I'll start with, I'll never forget the words that Jim said to me on my wedding day. We're in the hotel suite. We're getting dressed. Got him this little pocket watch for his groomsman gift. And put it in his pocket. He puts his hand on my shoulder, looks me in the eyes, and he says, "Patrick," takes off his glasses. "Are you sure you know what you're doing?" It's funny for two reasons. Number one, just a funny thing to say right before you get married. Number two, that was a little inside joke between us. Forget what show it was. It might have been, Brian, it might have been of Mice and Men. I was about to go on stage. We'd done Fight Call that day, and I made a mistake that my partner ran into my fist. And we were about to go on for the scene. He went on first, and I was going to go on second. He turns around to me and says, "Okay, now do you know what you're doing?" "No, I don't, Jim." Ended up going okay, but ever since then, that was just something that we said to each other before we went on stage, or, you know, when we got into the car after we were at the bar. And he said it to me on my wedding day, and it made me feel a lot better. I'm not so nervous. So, Jim, no, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. And I don't know what I'm going to do without you. We had a lot of those. We had a lot of little inside jokes that I'm not even going to try. Those will stay between him and I, because I couldn't begin to explain them. But that's what happens when you befriend somebody who's so passionate about the same thing that you're passionate about. And it's weird to say in front of his own brother, but we became like brothers. You know, and that's the Jim I knew. He was the actor. I met him, I liked him, I admired him, I looked up to him, and I wanted to be his friend. And it was really cool when he let me in. It's a regret that I have that I never told him how much that meant to me. I felt like an outsider when we met. And he was the first person when I started working in this area that made me feel like I belonged. And that it was okay to be who I was at the time. So he was like my first friend here. And, oh God, that meant so, so much to me. And over time, I began to consider him a best friend. We shared a lot of times together, and one thing I do think I know as well as anybody else, better than most, maybe, are his aspirations. A lot of them weren't realized. I thought we had more time, to get some of that done. But we often talked about the big one, right? The big show, the big role. Maybe not the starring role, but the big one that would lead to bigger things. The one that we could work on for hours, we could put all our heart and soul into, and it would put us over the top. And I'm not going to go all the way with what he wanted out of this, but he had some big goals. And, oh God, this sucks so much, but I can take one little bit of solace knowing that, Jim, wherever you are, I think this time you got into the big show and you got the big role, buddy. I like it, man.
So I like to tell people that Jim and I were instant friends because I think he was that way. If he met you and liked you and you clicked, you could be instant friends. And I've only had a handful of instant friends in my life, and it's meant a lot to me that he was one of them. Through our friendship, he talked a lot about his friends and how he got here, and the path it took to get him to Philadelphia and things like that, and people that were close to him that I'm just meeting today, and Jeremy is one of them, and so I'd like you to come up and share with us a little bit.
That's a lot of people. It's hard to be here and to talk about Jim with him being gone. I still don't believe it. I feel like he could walk in the door any second. And I'm sure you all feel the same way because it was just such a shock. But I've known Jim for 28 years. And I met him in 1995 at a college, Tulane University in New Orleans. And I was kind of a lone wolf, kind of. I didn't have a lot of friends. And I took to sitting at this bench in the quad and playing music just to get out of my dorm room. And he came by one night and sat down, and I think I was playing a lot of Beatles songs. He loved the Beatles. And we started talking about the Beatles, and we figured out that we had an English class together. We were in the class and we didn't know it. So suddenly we started to find a lot of things in common, and I suddenly wasn't so lonely anymore. And it was great because he met all the other people that I knew from New Orleans, and like Mary Angela said, he made friends fast, and we played music together. He was a great musician. He had a great singer, a great harmony singer in particular. And we loved movies, and he talked endlessly about movies and talked endlessly about any subject he was passionate about. And there were so many, and we all know him and those passions. But I stayed friends with him for so long because he's a gentle soul. I think everybody that knew him would know that about him. He had this quiet peace inside of him that was just really beautiful. And I sort of met that when I first met him 28 years ago. I could feel that, and it meant so much to have someone in your life that was, you knew wasn't going to be you know, a bad guy. And God knows he wasn't perfect, none of us are, but he was always a really great friend to me. And I miss him so much, and I still can't believe that this has happened. We made music for a long period of that 28 years, whether it was at Tulane and then the songs were terrible, or after we met our friend Ray here, who actually knew how to write songs. We made some good music and recorded it and played together thousands of times. And what he did will always live. You know, those things he did, whether it was performances that people got to enjoy on the stage, or songs that he got to write with me and Ray, or writing he did on his own. He loved literature. He loved being creative. He was just just loved things that touched him. He would get grabbed by songs. I was talking to his brother David a couple weeks ago. There's songs that would fascinate him, and he couldn't stop listening to them over and over and over again. And that was kind of like at college, it was kind of unbelievable. I think he listened to Bob Dylan's "Make You Feel My Love," I'm gonna say probably 500 times. And that's probably conservative. But that's how he was, and it was great because, again, he was just so genuine. And so he let things in, he let things, you know, occupy him, and that's a rare thing, I think. Takes a certain kind of soul to do that, and he had it, you know. So he did this play. I saw him at Tulane do plays, and he wrote this play with his colleagues, the other students, and they all got to add pieces to it. And I hadn't thought of this in, you know, forever, but he wrote a piece that at the end, it was like a death scene. He was playing Huey P. Long, who was a governor of Louisiana. Probably no one knows who that is nowadays, but he was a big deal back in the day. And he was assassinated, and the last words he ever said were, "I have so much left to do." And Jim, I think I told this story to Jim just randomly one day, and he was fascinated by it. He put it in the play, and he acted it out. And it was a really good moment. Like, it was surprisingly effective. It was like you could hear a pin drop when he did it. And that was him having acted for, like, you know, a week. You know, it was not far into his acting career. So, but yeah, I know he had so much more to do, and he had so much more to explore, and more things to obsess him, and more things to, you know, seize his passions. I just miss him so much, and I wanted to share a few of those memories with you guys, because it's rare to have a friend like that, and I know you all know that. He was a really great person, so thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
Hi, everybody. My name's Ray. I'm the other counterpart, I would suppose, with Jeremy. We all three moved up here together from New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. So I didn't really prepare anything. I've spent a lot of time thinking about Jim since this happened, and I've spent a lot of time just writing my thoughts down and trying to come to terms with. Jim was always like a quiet presence in the room, and the wonderful thing about this is I can still feel he's that quiet presence in my life. He occupies, there's a shape in my heart. It's shaped just like him. And I will not call it a hole, because it is full of joy and tears, and wonder and laughter and songs. And I know that it remains there, and it will always be there for me to converse with. There's nothing else that can fill that space. It belonged to Jim, and it belongs to him until the day I'm no longer on this earth. I have so many memories to draw from, and some of them are probably, they're just going to be mine. I don't even know how to share them. I will tell you, this is one thing that it happened. I've shared it with a few people, and maybe Jim shared it with you, and so when I tell it, you're going to realize I have a terrible memory. So, because I relied on Jim to remember everything about my life. So if there was something that I needed to know in the future, I made sure to tell him because pardon me, but I don't remember shit. I just can't get it, I can't get it together. So Jim remembered everything we ever did. It was like he could tell you the chronology of every song we ever wrote, who did what and who did when and who made what mistake. And, I told Jeremy I don't think that we'll be able to play music together anymore because Jim is the only one that would tell him if we was out of key. I'd have no idea. I'd just keep on going, So, and he'd be like, "You're doing it wrong, man." And we'd all have to take a pause. But one winter here, I saw Jim. We were over at Jeremy and Julie's, and we'd all come over. We used to get together basically every weekend, but it had snowed, and Jim had been outside, and you could tell it was a little bit of a lather on, and he was, "What's going on?" He's like, "Let me tell you." And so he'd been out shoveling out his car, right? And he was shoveling the snow, I guess, into the the sidewalk. And so a man down the road yelled at him, it's like, "Don't shovel into the sidewalk!" And Jim, I'd like to say that Jim is he was the most casual, he spoke in the most casual, formal way possible. So he's worked up, this guy yells at him, and if you know Jim, it's not like he was really into doing a lot of physical activity like that. So I imagine he was pretty peeved to begin with. And so the guy yells at him, and Jim says, "On your way, sir!" I was like, "You said what?" And he was like, "On your way!" And so the man started to walk forward. Jim is not one for physical altercations, but this is kind of the funny thing about him is if you knew him, when he was passionate about something, you could see it bubbling out. And so he brandished his snow shovel and said, "On your way!" And the man turned and went about his business, figuring probably the man with the plastic shovel was not one to be trifled with. But this is my friend. And it's just a real bitter pill that I have to have those conversations with the ghost, like with the echoes inside my heart. Because I want more of those stories. I need somebody to drink all the beers that I'm not drinking now that I quit, you know? I need someone to do those things with and for me. And I need someone that I can be that friend to. I have 2 friends, and Jim's one of them. And I hope I can be that person that he needs. I feel like he needs someone to walk the walk and stand up for the things that he would have admired and cared about. And I desperately want to be that person for him. I could probably stand up here and talk to you all for hours. And it would go a lot like this. There'd be some laughter, there would be some tears, and that's the story of our lives together. You know, we sailed some choppy waters together and navigated difficult times. Ashamed to say, back in wilder days, like, I scared the hell out of Jim by making him ride in my car while I probably had a few too many, but all the roads run, they're all one way in New Orleans, so it was reasonably safe, but he'd ride along, that's the thing. He'd go with me, because he wasn't going to let me go alone. And, you know, so, I love my friend, and I miss him, but I know that he is forever standing quietly in the corner of my life. And when it gets hard, I know that strength still resides within me. And I thank him for the gifts that he gave me. And I hope I see him again. Thank you all for being here, and he's a beautiful man, and I'm going to miss him every day. Thank you. Can I take the whole box?
I'm David Broyles. Jim was my brother. And I'm not going to take a lot of time up here because, quite frankly, I don't know where to begin. And I don't think that I'd probably get very far without, you know, having a total come apart on you, as we sometimes say. I just mostly just want to thank everybody who's here who loved him,
You know, I mean, he was my brother. He was my best friend too, you know. But we didn't get to see each other that much. You know, he came home to Oklahoma about twice a year, and we always looked forward to it. He did, I did, my wife did, of course our mother did, and my children did, his niece and nephew, Beatrice and Hollis. So, and I wish, you know, I wish now that I'd gotten up here more, especially in the last decade. My wife and I came up here several times in sort of the 2009 to 2011 period because we were on the road full-time playing music at that point, and we hadn't had our kids yet. But of course, you know, those of you with children know it gets a lot more complicated, you know, and harder to do those things once you do. And so, so that's, you know, that's probably the biggest reason why, oh, you're all just now meeting me, and meeting us. But I wanted to come up and I wanted to thank you on behalf of our family, on behalf of my mother, who couldn't be here. She just felt as if she needed to stay home, and she's actually with our kids right now, with her grandchildren, probably putting them to bed or starting to right now as we speak. Just thank you so much for loving him, and for being his friends and his community. Because we know, you know, I know that he needed you, and he was glad to have you. I'm just really, really grateful to all of you for being in his life. And I think that's all I can manage tonight. But if I haven't met you yet, I would love to, after we finish here and we go, you know, spend some time in there, I guess. And so please come introduce yourself, and if you've got a story about him, I'd love to hear it. And so would Casey, my wife. And so, yeah, thank you.
So, when this happened, Jim's mom reached out to me, and we talked, and I hadn't talked to her beyond being online in forever. I met her once. She came to see a show here. I met her and his dad, and she was so sweet, and it was the first time I had talked to her since then, and I felt so bad, like why is this now? Why we were talking? I wish we had talked more before. She's such a sweet lady. And she asked if I could write something, just something that she could share at his service. And originally I thought, like, there's no way, I can't. What would I write? I don't know, I can't. And then I found that sitting down to think about what I wanted to write was actually really comforting, and in some way helped me feel closer to him by knowing that I was helping people maybe know him in a way that they didn't, or just remember him in a way that they had forgotten or hadn't thought of in a while. So I'm just going to read, I'm going to try to read what I wrote. It's called Our Friend Jim. Our friend Jim was a quiet man in few words, until you got him talking about his favorite band, the Beatles, or about theater as an art form, or a great piece of literature, or a heady TV show that was popular. He had a lot to say. Then, he liked to listen to what you had to say too, and then respond with a thought-out, often humorous retort that would contain some of his thoughts on the matter. He was often mistaken for a quiet man who didn't say much, but that was a misconception. Because in reality, once you got him talking, he could go on for hours, and we often did. Our friend Jim liked good music, good food, good people, good theater, good books, and especially a good laugh. He loved to laugh out loud and make others do the same. He had a bunch of quotes and accents and impersonations that he could pull out without prompting to bring a smile to your face. But he never overused them. He saved them, like gems, to bring out when he really wanted to make you smile or when he wanted to land a joke. His timing was always perfect and always hilarious. Our friend Jim remembered things you might have expected him to forget. He was always watching things around him and paying attention, even if you thought he wasn't. It made him a great conversationalist because he could bring up things forgotten and give them new life in that moment. It's one of the reasons I really loved running into him unexpectedly out and about in the neighborhood and just having a good chat. He never turned down an invitation to Sunday dinners at my house, but on the rare occasion that he had to, he always made sure I knew that whatever it was that was keeping him away that night was going to be far less fun than having dinner with me and our family of friends, even if that wasn't the case at all. I always had to remind him that just because he said he couldn't come this time, it didn't mean I was never going to invite him again. In fact, he had a standing invitation to join us for any and all holidays that we were in town for. And he was always welcome to come over unannounced at any time, but he never would do that. He would always send a polite text and ask if we were up for his company. And we were always up for his company. Our friend Jim was an actor. He didn't study it in school, beyond a few electives in college, but he learned it by doing, especially over the last 16 years. He performed in plays all around the Philadelphia region, more than 30 shows between 2007 and 2023, several of which I had the privilege of directing him in. He also appeared in 9 short films and lent his voice talents to 2 others. He loved doing voice acting, and his voice can still be heard on G-Town Radio, 92.9 FM, introducing the local talk show that airs bi-monthly on that station. He was always interested in taking on projects that would strengthen his acting skills and challenge his creativity. I never passed on an opportunity to work with him, on stage or screen, and twice I even got to perform with him on stage. Everyone I know who has worked with him always remarked what a natural talent he was and how much they enjoyed sharing the stage with him. He will definitely be remembered by those who got to see him shine in front of an audience. Our friend Jim has left us far too soon. He has left us with a hole in our heart that we will now fill with all of our memories of him and our thoughts of him and our love for him. He will never be forgotten, and he will be thought of often. He lives on in each of us who knew and cared for him, and while that doesn't seem like nearly enough, it is what we will hold on to when we feel sad that he is gone. Because Jim would want us to be sad. He would want us to smile and remember how he entertained us and how he made us laugh. He would want us to see him in all the things that he enjoyed. We see you, Jim. We see you in all these things. We miss you immeasurably, but we are very glad that we knew you, even if it was only for a little while. Good night, sweet prince, and lights of angels sing thee to thy rest. William Shakespeare, Hamlet, Act 5, Scene 2. So I wanted to end tonight with the last short film that I've shot with Jim. It was a play, a one act that we did at Old Academy last summer, and he was so good in it that I asked him if he would let me film it, if he'd be okay with it. And Jim, never to turn down a chance to be in a short film, agreed. And what I liked about this story, I mean, I know directors aren't supposed to say this, but I completely precast him in this role. The moment I read the script, I knew it had to be him. The piece was called Are You Happy? And the premise, as you'll see, is a man who's just trying to buy a bag of potato chips at the cheerful store, and they just don't seem to think he's happy enough. They're worried that he's not, and he keeps trying to tell them, I am happy, I am happy, I'm happy as a man can be. And I remember when the pandemic started, I was very worried about him, you know, being on his own in his apartment all by himself. I kept trying to Zoom call him and do all these things, and he said, you don't have to worry about me. I was born for this. I am living my best life right now. It's okay. But he agreed to, you know, oblige me in some Zoom games of categories from time to time, or some other interactions. And when we got a chance to come back and, you know, we started visiting outside again, I invited him over immediately, and he came over and he said, you know, he was so glad to see me. He thought he was born for this, but he didn't realize how much he missed everyone and how much it meant to him to be there. So he kept thanking me for inviting him over, and that's when the standing invitation happened. I was like, you can come over anytime. You don't even have to tell me, just show up at my door. It's fine. This is where you can live here now. It's fine. So when this piece came across my you know, way, I thought, this is the kind of ridiculous comedy that I felt Jim could do. It's the straight man. It's not the, I'm doing something ridiculous to make you laugh. It's the, I'm in a ridiculous situation, and that's why this is humorous. Editing this was definitely a labor of love. He had just asked me at the end of June if I was ever going to get around to editing this. So I felt like I needed to do this now, and I can definitely say that I heard his whispers and his critiques as I chose the cuts that I used, but I think he would be pleased with the outcome. I will say that this is technically a rough cut. It has not gone through sound, so please bear with me. There is no sound edit. I mean, it has sound. It just isn't the best sound. So know that, and it is definitely an absurd piece, but the film is dedicated to Jim. There will be a screening of his films at some point this year. I'm not sure when, but I wanted to share this with you now because I think he would want us to have a smile on our faces if we could when we think about him after all of this. So I think that's all I can say about that. Please enjoy. Are you happy?
and make it a sunny day. We always try to make our customers happy.
That's very nice, but you can't change the weather.
Well, our customer satisfaction department is working on it. Just give us a little time. We'll have it fixed, I guarantee it.
Right. I'll just pay for this now if you don't mind.
Of course, sir. Did you find everything you were looking for?
Yes, I did.
There wasn't anything else?
No, I only needed this bag of potato chips.
Good, because we want our customers to be really happy. Are you really happy?
Yes, I am. Now if I could just pay.
Of course. I'll bring this right up. Oh, sir, did you know we're having a 2-for-1 sale on these potato chips? You can save money!
No, that's okay. I only need one bag of them.
But sir, we want to help you save money. Why don't you just go back and get another bag?
No, it's perfectly fine. I live alone and I don't need more than one.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's not a problem. I'm fine with it.
Brave face you're putting on.
No, I'm fine with it. It's no problem at all.
I'm sure that's what you tell yourself. Sitting all alone on your couch, eating your potato chips, crying softly as you watch the latest Hallmark Christmas special.
What? I don't sit on my couch and... Can you please just tell me what I owe?
Of course, sir. I'll scan these right away so you can go back to your sad, stark, desolate...
Could you please stop doing that? What's the matter with you?
It is against our company policy for our customers to be sad.
I am not sad.
Is there no one you could invite over to share your potato chips? Your neighbor? A classmate from your old school? Your local FedEx driver? It is just terrible the way your family has abandoned you.
For your information, my family hasn't abandoned me. I have a sister who lives in California, but hey, do you mind?
But California is so far away. It must be so hard having family live far away. Do you miss her?
If you don't stop doing this, I'm going to report you to the manager.
Oh, that's a wonderful idea. My manager is a whiz at helping lonely customers like you. She always comes up with the perfect solution. Just a second while I call her.
No, don't do that. I changed my mind. Really, you don't need to.
Manager to the front of the store, please. We have a depressed customer. Hello? It's a beautiful day, isn't it? What seems to be the problem? This poor gentleman lives alone. And he's just bought some potato chips to eat by himself while he cries bitter tears about his loneliness. Oh, that's terrible. Let's hear for him. Sir, could we have a group of carolers come visit you to sing Christmas carols? Our maintenance department is well known for their 5-part harmony, and I'm sure it's just the thing to put you in the holiday spirit and make you forget all about your loneliness.
Holiday spirit? What are you talking about? It's the middle of July.
Yes, but there's nothing like Christmas carols to make you forget you're all alone in the world without a soul on the planet to share your potato chips.
Listen, as I've explained to your cashier here multiple times, I am not lonely. Do you understand? Not lonely. Perfectly happy. Happy as a man can be, that's me. Now will you stop bothering me about that?
He hides it so well, doesn't he? Yes! The poor thing! He doesn't want anyone to know. Oh! I have a great idea! How about if I go to his apartment for dinner? Oh! That's wonderful! I mean, we're not too busy here tonight, so I can spare you. Sir! Molly would like to come and have dinner at your apartment. I can bring a bottle of wine from the back. I am a good conversationalist, and I would be great company. By the way, do you like white or red? We have a great selection of Cabs, Chardonnays, Merlots, you name it.
No. I don't need to have anyone for dinner. How many times do I have to tell you I'm perfectly happy eating alone?
It would make me, personally, very happy to serve you. Plus, I get a gold star from my boss, and I'd be in the running for Employee of the Month. I won twice in a row, but coworker, Callie, broke my record with 3 months because she's on a hot streak. She cured 6 customers of their depression last month alone.
Callie is a rising star in the company.
This is absurd. What universe am I in here?
Buddy, please just move it along.
I'm trying to get her to hurry. What do you want me to do?
Just let her come to dinner, man.
What? Are you crazy?
No, see, it's the only way. This store is famous for its customer satisfaction. They really go out of their way here.
Yeah, you should have seen what they did for my brother and his wife. They paid off their mortgage, they built an addition to their house, and they cured their teenagers' acne. Unbelievable!
It's why I keep coming back here.
Oh, thank you all so much for saying that. We love to hear it here at Cheerful Stars.
But you can't seriously expect me to have
Just, please, just let her come to dinner.
Yeah, we can't wait around here forever.
I give up. Okay, fine. You can come to dinner.
Wonderful! I'm so happy you're letting me serve you this way.
Good day.
I can't believe it.
Is there anything else that we can do for you today?
No, you've done enough.
Just remember to give me an excellent rating when they call you for the customer service. It's very important.
Yes, just between you and me, sir. It has a lot to do with Molly's future.
Her future with the company?
No, her future on this planet. Employees with bad ratings usually disappear.
Oh, I see. Well, yes, I'll give her a good review. Don't worry.
A good review, sir? Is that all?
An excellent review. I'll give her a super duper 5-star review. Is that good enough?
That's wonderful.
I'm eternally indebted to you, sir.
Yes.
Not a problem. Can I go?
Of course. That'll just be $100 for the potato chips. Will that be cash or credit?
$100 for a bag of potato chips?
Will you please just pay the bill, man?
If you feel I've overcharged you, you could always give me a lower rating. I'll have to take a 75% pay cut
And
and have all my fingers broken. But at least I'll still be alive.
we aim for 5 stars from every customer.
No, that's not necessary. Here's my credit card. I just want to be done with this.
Thank you, sir. There you go.
Can I go now? Please?
Of course. I'll be over at 6 with a bottle of wine, and I'll make a steak dinner for you. Will that be satisfactory?
Yes, please,
Please just say that, please, for the love of God.
Yes, 1,000 times yes. Now let me out of here.
There goes another happy customer.
Oh, and he hasn't even heard about our rewards program yet. Wait till he finds out about that. That'll get him to buy 2 bags of chips.
Patrick, you cut it off before the dedication. You're killing me. Okay, well, there's a lovely tile at the end of that film that says this film is dedicated to the loving memory of our friend Jim Broyles. So, thank you all so much again for coming. Please join us in the lobby area, maybe if it's not raining outside, where we can share some more stories and some refreshments. Thank you all for being here to celebrate our friend who we loved a lot and a brother. That's all I can say. Thank you. house, I was like, this one was dedicated to them. I was like, I'm leaving all this up here for you.
Yeah. Great.
Paula started FaceTiming me in the middle of the movie. Hey, can I give you a hug?
Yeah.
Your talk was very moving for me. Thank you for sharing your part. Such a
I knew it was good.
So I was like, I trying to help her. That's right. So did you
Because she took it as nice, the only reason he knows well, that was the ceremony. Isn't that the craziest thing?